Who's that wonderful girl?
Could she be any cuter?
Meet Mona, the wide-eyed, smiley 3-year-old puppet full of fascination and wonder, bringing viewers along on her adventures. Mona's the center of the show Nanalan, named after the joy of playing at your Nana's, originally airing on Canadian TV over 20 years ago. But it has since found a new audience, capturing the hearts of many on social media. We got to talk to the creators, Shannon and Jason Hopley, about the show going viral and what's next.
Can you walk me through what you both were thinking as you're watching either your digital numbers or just clicks start to climb?
Suddenly, there was a girl that put a joke on a meme sort of on a song that Nana was singing in a glorious moment for Mona, and then all of a sudden it just like she got like 9 million views in like a week or something like that. And then what was lovely about that is, for now, what Jamie and I both were, we haven't been really working together for all these years and these 20 years, but it's really what we both love about it is like, that's what we were like, the positive messaging and all that stuff. Suddenly it was like, that's what we were trying to do. And now with a much larger audience, it's very validating and very it's very heartwarming that people connect with it in the way that we intended it to be.
I would think there's something exciting about being like, oh, we're one of the millions of billions of things that have caught on that could become talked about now out of everything out there.
Yeah, it's wonderful. You can hear almost people singing "Who's That Wonderful Girl" because so many people have it ringing in their heads, like millions and millions and millions, which is such a wild feeling. And one of the things we've been able to do is we make these cameos. People are getting cameos constantly, 10 a day, and they're the most endearing messages in the world. Just the sweetest people reaching out to their spouse, or lots of pep talks. And it's something special about this because our slogan is "Heal Your Inner Child," and people are really like. We did an interview last week where the woman started bawling. Somebody on the crew just started bawling at the sight of the puppets because that just kind of unlocked a memory. So it's really it holds a really neat place in people's hearts, Nanalan, because it's not commercial. It's not trying to sell toys. It's not heavily moral. It's just it kind of has this opening, wondrous awe feeling. So I think people have a real sort of soft spot for it because it doesn't have a distaste of like, oh, and then the plastic toys came. I don't know.
What's drawn you both to this love of the art of puppetry and television programming? I'm a big Muppets fan myself, and just to see the characters behind you, it just brings a sense of joy. So I'm sure that's been a through line of this part of your professional career.
Yeah, well, Jamie and I both went to an art school. That's how we met, and it sort of what's awesome about puppetry is that it's sort of a combination of we both were visual artists, love to make stuff. Jamie loved Halloween and making costumes. I was very much the same kind of kid. And then when we met after high school again, we'd gone through school all together, but then after high school one time we're like, hey, let's do this together. Jamie had gone away to Prague and was inspired by puppets, knew that I loved puppets, and was like, hey, let's do this. And so suddenly we created a sort of a puppet troupe, and it was a terrifying experience. But our first puppet gig really was at a library, and our puppets kind of scared everybody, all the kids. But then we realized, oh, okay, well, maybe we're better for TV.
We were really kind of trying to give people a conduit to be able to be themselves. And we've talked about this a few times before, but Mona is a representation of people themselves. More than the other, you watch Mona and everybody's like, that's me. Because she's kind of like an emoji. She's a very simple, accessible, kind of beautiful face. So people experience, I think, their childhood through her. So me, myself, I guess I just have that. I can just kind of jump in. Admittedly, after doing it, after I do it for a little while, I feel quite giddy and quite like a 3-year-old for a moment until I kind of settle back into myself. But I really enjoy kind of being in that space. It's a very kind of like in the moment, forget everything else. And you have to kind of give all your energy as well. Once you get to a certain age to perform a 3-year-old, I have to kind of like rev up my whole spirit to be in there for it. But yeah, I love it. It's I love doing it.
But you make a really good point of really even the purpose of the series was basically Jamie's talking about literally living authentically in the moment, and even as a performer. But that's exactly what it is about Nanalan, and the series itself is expressing how to live in that moment and be delightful about it and to be free to do so, and supported and loved while doing it. And it's no wonder why people have really gravitated towards that. That's why it's so delightful that it's in a Nana's backyard. It's the safest place. It's a place of magic. It's a place of magical everyday things. It's the magic of everyday things, that being that young and experiencing the world and being free enough and supported to in all of that. It's like, it feels like a utopia of love and support and joy, and that's exactly why people need it and want it, and it's why it's something that was absolutely intended. We did it with that purpose and joy. We had the best crew on the planet. We had a tiny little crew making the show, and all of it combined, all their love, all of our performances, everything was a family of love making this show. And it was a really special time, and it was really creative and amazing. So we also didn't write any scripts. It was all improv.
Are you also doing newer shorts because of this? Or are we still working with your previous
Yeah,
material?
Jason and I have been really talking creatively.
Okay.
A lot of the stuff seems like it's brand new because it was shot in the first high definition cameras out of the factory. So it's really beautiful, all the half hours. There's still 14 left to go up on the YouTube channel. So they haven't even all been released. And none of those are anywhere. People haven't TiVoed them. They're nowhere because they're from pre-record your own TV time. And then Jason and I are very excited. We were talking about maybe doing a Christmas special if we can get that together in the next month, and doing a little series, doing a feature film. We're very excited to keep on rolling with all the things Nanalan.
That's so exciting. I'm curious if you guys were on a different project path, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is taking off, so let's go back over here.
Well, I think we were both busy with our own stuff. I took a moment out of time because all the strikes and everything really slowed down business. So I was like, I'm going to give 300% of my company to getting this whole social media thing started. So I spent the last since February kind of working on that.
Yeah, my career path, once Jamie and I sort of went our separate ways, I've literally made a career out of children's television, like preschool. I've become a writer and creator and all those things. And then I did remember there was a moment back in 20 years ago, Jamie and I were, I think we had the conversation that maybe we'll work together when we're 50. And again, right? And then here we are. So you're right. It's kind of like, oh, all this stuff, and and then suddenly there it is again. But what's amazing about that, what I've actually just even the past little while, because it's all brand new, like Jamie's collective experience and my collective experience as older, wiser, and mature, that we've from our creative partnership that we had years ago, I think it only benefits Nanalan in that way of more like wiser and more loving, I'd say.
Well, Jamie and Jason, congrats on your success then and now, and thank you for being with us to talk about it.